Hey, what's going on? Banana Vape here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody. So, I'm over here. I'm gonna do a Stillare build. I'm going to be doing a dual parallel 6 wrap on my Stillare, and that's what I'm gonna be doing. So, I like to bend my 24 gauge in half like this, and I lay it on the drill. It's easier to control the wire if you just bend it in half like this. See? Okay. It's good to have 2 wires because two drills. If you take the drill out of the coil once you wrapped it, it'll get all screwed up. So you want to have a drill for each coil, you know. Now, as you come around, you got to come around on an angle because there's 2 wires. So if you come straight around, you're going to overlap the inner coil, the inner wrap. One wrong move and you end up having to redo it, which is a total pain in the ass. This one wasn't as perfect as the first one. There we go. See, now I cut the loop off. See? All right.
Jim may be a hot one, but he's not a murderer. And why did he kill someone who's trying to help?
Oh, maybe he was pinned down. He said it. He all but screw it in my face. It's funny, huh? I knew guys like that. And sooner or later, he's going to kill somebody else.
See? So I come in from one side, position it where I want it,
After seeing everything, I think this is the one.
and I lock down to negative.
Tons of room for the golf clubs. Golf clubs and strollers. I love this one. So, what do you think? I think it's everything we want.
Great. Discover for yourself why more people find their perfect car at Carmen.
These still are. These post holes are a little tight, so you got to be real careful. You know, it's good to have one of the ends shorter than the other, so you can you get the wire started in one of the posts. Say, watch. If they're even, it just makes it more difficult.
Packages start at $19.99. Switch to Dish now and get an additional $150. Hurry, offer ends soon. Call Dish today.
It's the Silverado year-end event. Time to get your Chevy Silverado before it's too late. And with the best offer of the year on the most awarded pickup of 2014, there's no better time than now. Hurry in. It all ends January 2nd. Now during the year-end event, trade up to get a total value of $9,500 on this 2014 Silverado Creek All-Star. Year-end event at your Chevy dealer.
Santa, it's for you. Hi, Santa.
Hello, Jessica.
Life and TV wants bored, but Christmas is over, Santa.
Well, actually, Big Guy, the final days of the Ford True Big Sales event are on right now. It's the best time to shop.
Well, I think I may have a new Ford in my bag after all.
Thanks, Santa.
Hurry, before they're all gone. Some things are big, others are huge. Empire Today's $99 room sale is back. Get carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate for just $99 when you pay for padding and installation. Carpet for your bedroom, hardwood for the family room, laminate for the kitchen. Each $99 when you pay for padding and installation. This is the sale you've been waiting for. Schedule now.
I like to put the other drill back in before I tighten the positive. See? Sometimes it twists and it'll screw you all up. Now I gotta cut all my ends off.
AMC's The Walking Dead returns with new episodes this February.
Look at someplace that we can be safe. It's a chance. Instead of just being out here. Instead of just making it.
Be okay. I guess this is how we survive. Walking Dead returns with new episodes Sunday, November 8th at 9 on AMC.
I like to make sure nothing's touching. I don't want any shorts, I don't want any problems. Let's see.
She's upset. She's probably good. I think she's smart enough to know what she's feeling. She wants me, so she needs something to like. It's pretty obvious to everyone Maggie loves you, not just because you wanted the last man standing, so it's the problem.
Just like to make sure the wires are positioned exactly where I want them. In the same height from the deck on both sides. See?
Of course, and my sisters, with Maggie, it's different. I mean, we barely know each other. What does she really know about me? We're practically strangers.
Once I have everything in position the way I like it, that's when I dry burn it, and I make sure my I get the coils all nice and stuck together better than they already are. Like my tweezers. get any hot spots out. Be real careful with the dual parallel when you're doing this, because they tend to bend in half. The triple parallel is even worse. You got to be real careful. Sometimes you could go to squeeze this and it'll like bend in half, and you'll have to start over. I like to make sure that the coils light up exactly the same time. I'm just going to give you a little. Well, looks pretty perfect to me. I like to. I make sure that they're perfect before I wick them, because it's not going to perform right if it's not. Looks pretty perfect to me.
Why don't you be so selfish?
Selfish? Listen to me, olive oil. I was out there looking for that little girl every single day. I took a bullet and an arrow in the process. Don't you tell me about looking at my hands dirty. You want those two idiots on us rock? I'm done looking for people.
Looks good to me. I'm going to lock this so I don't fire it and burn myself like I did a couple of days ago. I got my Japanese cotton here. I picked mine up at Fluid Vapor. Don't handle the cotton with dirty fingers, because then you're vaping dirty shit. Now this is all I use. I know people that use the same cotton use a lot more. This is all you need. You see, this stuff is pretty thick, so when you cut a strip knowing that it's going to be able to fit through the coil. I split it down the center like this. You want it to go through the coil and be like almost loose, because if it expands once you juice it up. And when it expands, you don't want it to expand and be like super tight in the coil, because then you end up with burnt cotton. See? Once your cotton gets burnt, your vape is going to suck. It's going to taste like burnt shit. So, and this is one of those trial and error kind of things, you know, like as you do it. See, I use one piece per side, and I don't necessarily use all of it. I cut some off. I don't want to overdo it. See? See now? Now I take one side and I fold it under the coil. I use my little screwdriver. And then I take the other side and I fold that under the same coil. And I spin it around, see? And I spin it around and I do the same thing. Fold it directly under the coil and just leave it loose under the coil. See? Fold it under. You don't want to have so much cotton in there that you can't, you know, the juice has no way to go, you know, when there's too much cotton in there. See? What am I going to put on this? I want Blue Moon, baby. Blue Moon. FluidVapor.com. Blue Moon, all the way. Amazing. Yeah, I've had the Stillare laying around for a while. It's a real one. Got the Stillare drip tip too. I've had this thing for a long time. It's not my favorite, you know, Addy that I have. I really like the Mephisto. That's got to be my favorite. That's the one I use constantly. I use this more than anything. Got my fluid drip tip on there. Got my vape overload unicorn over here. Good times. This is my favorite thing I have. This is a 5-wrap or a 4-wrap dual parallel. I think it was a 5-wrap. But I wanted to vape Blue Moon on a dual parallel, and I didn't want it to hit as hard as that. So that's why I did this. I don't know. Not so fond of this Addy. One of these days I'm going to sell it to somebody. I don't know. But not a bad build. Not a bad anything. It's all good. So I hope everybody has a nice, safe holiday. And Happy New Year. Until next time. Banana Vape out. Bye-bye.